It's true. It's got to be applicable, got to be relevant, has to solve a problem for them.
And I got everybody to do it because it was like, but it's like
Hold
a
on,
lot. You just
slow
ate
down a
lunch.
second. Please describe this again. Tell me, what did you do again? Would you be able, as like a gift or a freebie from, let's say, someone watching this video, could they get, let's say,
Can you hear me, Paige? Okay, I'm about to do an interview with Mike, so try not to make too much noise. Okay.
Woo! Now, this is the first time I'm trying to vlog the same time that I'm riding. A little bit different, a little bit weird, but fun as hell. So, why am I out here on this dirt track? Well, one, I'm having a little fun this afternoon because couldn't take the Harley out today. Needs to have a little bit of maintenance. So I figured, you know what? Let me come out on my favorite little machine. I call it the green machine. So we're just out here on some dirt tracks. But what I have for you today is something special. So, like myself, my colleague Julie Kruse is a sales training consultant. And she does a lot of virtual training as well. Now, she just came off of a great session with one of her large pharma clients. And she was gracious enough to get on a call with me, and she can kind of share her wisdom. So I want you to stay tuned. It lasts probably about, I think 15 minutes probably with Julie. Not too long, but there's a lot of gems in there that you can learn. So keep going, and we will talk to you soon.
Kruse, thank you again for doing this.
My pleasure. I'm super excited.
Like, you're a great front of the room facilitator and trainer, and your energy really kind of comes out. And this is, you're having to adjust to get into a different milieu, like a different forum. And so I want to ask you, what did you learn about yourself in this process?
So I have to answer like the right resume answer sort of here that I should be. So not that I love being the boss and I'm totally love being in control, because that's what I shouldn't say, but it's kind of fun being the boss and controlling everything.
Yeah.
But what I learned about myself, I think more than anything, is that I am the expert. Like I really got to feel it. I got to own it. When it came to running this whole meeting, it's not my first consulting project, but it's one of the bigger ones that I've done recently. I have that saboteur complex sometimes, and I just was able to line everything up, figure everything out. And so I found it was a different me. It was just a different me. It was nice being my own boss and being in control of what the outcome was going to be and how this was going to roll out, and being able to make the decisions that were the best decisions for the participants.
What did you find really easy about facilitating and delivering the training?
So I think the easy, which was maybe one of the things that made me most nervous, like you just said at the very beginning, it's that sort of presence, and when you're at the front of the room and what you're able to control, and also the energy that you can bring. My biggest fear was probably like, how was I going to get that Julie factor onto a screen, and would I be able to convey the same presence that I would do in a live training? So I'd say that was probably the easy part. And just the connections, the connecting with people, being yourself on camera, being able to be who you are and still engage and still connect with the people individually. That was probably the easy thing for me. And one of the reasons it was so easy is because I connected with every single participant before the actual virtual sessions went live.
So it wasn't strangers. You didn't feel like you were going in with strangers. That's interesting. You talk about like getting that out of the way of doing these touch points, because it's true when we're facilitating a group, especially you're part of establishing your credibility in front of the group, is you do need to kind of say, well, here's who I am. Here's my experience.
Oh, for sure.
But yet that's probably got to be really boring for a participant if you're listening to that in a virtual session. I love what you did. You took that out of it completely and took care of it even before you got in there. what did you find was really working for you to make sure that your people were engaged, that they were really like getting involved in the material or whatever you were having them do? What were you?
So, I read a lot too of just, and I attended a couple of seminars of tricks for virtual learning, but it was more people trying to push their platforms onto you, and push their courses and push this, sign up for that. So I just went back to a couple of things I had learned. I've done small virtual things before, and what I ended up doing was just sat back and put myself in the shoes of the participant, and just thought about, what would I want? Like, I know I'm sitting through this, I'm here, I've got my water, I've got my this, I've got my notepad. How am I going to keep these people engaged? What am I going to do? So I really went back to what I do in a regular classroom setting for these meetings. I did the same fun stuff. I did the same introductions, getting everyone to talk. I mean, if I had the budget, or maybe if I was part of a big company as a facilitator, as a trainer, I would have loved to have sent them a little box, like a care package, to have with them during the training, like those smelly markers that always make people happy, a fidget toy, give them some chocolate and candy, to keep them energized. I would have sent them a little, like, here's what you need sort of box. I ended up telling my teams in their pre-work, just Julie's tip, have this handy, with you. But so that kind of thing. And doing, you come back from breaks, you do brain teasers, you do little activities, you do get to know you things. So all of those things I still incorporated into the training. I mean, we came back from one break and I tested out how long I could facilitate doing a wall sit. And I got everybody to do it, because but it's like a wall. You just
slow down a second. Please describe this again. Tell me, what did you do again?
A wall sit.
What is a wall sit?
Oh, Mike, you're killing me, man. Okay, so I need a place though where you can see that beside me. So I have to move a chair. Hold on.
Okay, no problem.
There we go. Good thing I put pants on, man.
Yeah, it's a good thing you dressed today, yes.
Okay, so it's one of these. Remember these? Can you see me doing this?
Yeah, I can see what you're doing. So you were facilitating while doing that.
I was facilitating, and I got everybody to do it also, because people were getting, we're sitting a lot, we're not using our muscles and whatever. So after about 3 minutes, my thighs were burning and shaking, and but it was great because we had, it was different. Everybody kind of got that that level of whatever energy, and like, your body pumping some stuff. And it's like, you can do some jumping jacks, you can do anything. Like, you don't want to be ridiculous. We had a few times, and I think it was the smaller group. I didn't do it in the big group, but after one of the breaks, I asked them to like show everyone what was outside their office door or wherever they were sitting, like show me another living thing in your house.
Okay.
And so there was only 8 people, so it was quick enough to go around, and we saw a dog, we saw a baby, we saw a plant, we saw whatever. But it was just, it just is a different glimpse, and sort of, rather than the same old boring come on back. But it's honestly, it's the stuff that you would do anyways, whether we were in front of a group or not. So I think that's probably the biggest tip.
I want to give you credit for something. You are doing something that is not what you would normally do in a class. You would not ask people in a class, please show us a picture of another living person in this, in your house. Like, you are, like, this is a great example of innovation, of taking a kernel of something that you're used to doing, and then you expand it creatively in a different environment that people are in, and you have this wonderful impact. Would you be able, as like a gift or a freebie from, let's say, someone watching this video, could they get, let's say, a top 10 list of Julie's icebreakers or of Julie's energizers?
For virtual meetings?
Yeah, for virtual meetings. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I could totally come up with that.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
maybe already have 8, so I'd have to test
Or it
things
could
out.
be it's 8. Maybe that's the list. But I think like you're just like you're there, like you've got all these things firing, and I'm sure there's people that are sitting back going, okay, besides talking about what you had for breakfast, I don't know what to ask these people in a virtual session. So I think you've got like a lot of creativity there you could share. Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you do the stuff you regularly do. You have your part that you teach. Do the good old what is it? The PATH model, the presentation, application, feedback. Like,
Mm-hmm.
still build your stuff the same way. Make sure that they break out. They're applying the knowledge. They're understanding it. They're coming back. They're sharing it with the group. You're getting different insights. Do the things that you would normally do in a face-to-face training, but
Okay.
just retweak them a bit and make them more fun in the virtual environment, because your flow is still going to be similar.
One of the pushbacks sometimes that we get being training consultants is you are proposing learning modules or sessions, and they could be 2.5 hours, maybe sometimes 3 hours, even push it, let's say, to 4. And the clients push back and they're like, no, there's no way my team's going to sit on a call
Oh,
for
for
4
sure.
hours, right?
But don't forget, a lot of people that aren't trainers or facilitators are picturing, like, what do they consider a training? Is when you bring in the medical person, they talk about a study and show you slides for 2 hours. No,
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to try and stay awake and do that, but that's not what a training is. I mean, you're having the interaction, you're doing all of that. So from that standpoint, and the feedback I got was like, wow, thanks for, it was engaging, it was entertaining. But and another big one, and I mean, I guess it fits into do what you would do, but the one thing that I noticed is different from a face-to-face meeting versus a virtual meeting, and I'm glad I had my smaller group to test this out on, was you just can't accomplish as much as you normally would. Make sure that you sort of keep your topics, and the way that I set it up was like one topic in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually had time to run through it, to debate it, to not only do the exercises and understand it, but get the best practices from the different people, and really not try to rush through stuff, because you don't have the same, it's not as easy when you have all those people together around a table to sit and join the group and say, see how it's going, and lead them. I mean, I'm popping in and out of virtual meeting rooms,
Yeah.
and checking in and having people present back. They've got to share their screen, so it takes a little extra minute, like, it's just that kind of stuff that you have to work in. And I think, there's some great key learnings from that standpoint, but people really appreciated that the material wasn't crazy heavy, that the objectives that we set out,
a whole bunch of stuff.
exactly. And like I said so many times, do the same thing you would do in a face-to-face meeting when you're doing a virtual session like that. And here's an example of some fun stuff. Hey buddy, come here. And this happened to me too during that. Hi. We got to see a few little babies, and we got to see a few dogs too. What are you doing, Blue? Well, that's the fun of it, though. It's more, personable sometimes, I guess. But he came and hung out quite a few times
Blue
with
doesn't
me.
look impressed that he's on camera.
He's just so shaggy that he needs a little work, I think.
If, let's say, you are speaking directly to some other virtual trainers that either they're preparing for their first session, or they've given some sessions, but they just know they need to do things a bit differently, what would be those three tips that you would want to give them?
So top 3 things are really, we've talked about all of them. Number 1, choose your platform, buy it, own it, know it, be able to offer that as a value add to your clients. Number 2 would be, remember, use all your same tricks as you would in a face-to-face training, and make sure to add them in and keep it interactive, high energy, all of the things that make you who you are as a facilitator. And number 3 would definitely be, I would recommend those connections ahead of time with your participants. Take the time to get to know them, understand them, and really build a rapport with them, so they're coming in already trusting you and ready to go.
Julie Kruse, training consultant extraordinaire, thank you very much for sharing your experience and your tips and your learnings. And like I said, kind of in the middle is that if you've made it to the end here, then definitely get a hold of sort of Julie's, what were we calling it? You know, top 8 list of things to make your sessions dynamic and energizing.
Hey, you're still with me. Well, I'm actually still out on this ride on this wonderful afternoon here. So if you're still with us, just remember, just click on the link below in the description. You'll be able to get a hold of Julie's lists of tips on how to run really kind of kick-ass virtual sessions. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you do have any comments, or if you do either have some similar experiences, or maybe you might disagree, you might have a different idea, please leave it in the comments and we will respond. So, I want you guys to have a great day and keep riding.